was living in Barnwell when I was 8 years old. I thought then I would one day be a doctor like my dad. Dad was a hero, still is.
My daddy was my hero. I was his last-ditch effort for a little boy, and I was the fourth of girls, and the last one, and so I was little George. I went with him everywhere, went fishing with him, rode with him in his pickup truck.
I had the misfortune of getting a speeding ticket taken care of, and the receptionist who greeted me, who happened to be the bookkeeper for the law firm, was Linda.
So after he left, the attorney in the office called me in and said, "That boy wants to get your phone number and call you."
So I met her in late 81 or early 82.
And he said, "Now he wants to take you out." I said, "I'm not going out with him. I don't know him." I said, "Tell him to call me up here. Maybe he can take me to lunch one day."
And we started dating.
We went out to lunch, and I dumped a whole bowl of salad in my lap.
And then got married in 83, November of 83.
Our main goal was that when we had children, I was going to be the mommy. I was going to stay home and raise the children, and he was going to take care of the other stuff, the money, because we just didn't want somebody else to raise our children. We wanted to do it ourselves.
I was in my last semester of law school when Cory was born.
The children were far enough apart in age so that they were never in the same school at the same time.
Cory was a bright-eyed, smiling, go-get-'em, fun child who loved to learn and loved to play.
Rachel is very artistic and wants very badly to go in that direction, and I believe she will.
Cory was Rachel's hero, mentor, and truly best friend.
When Rachel was in 6th grade, they had a project where they had to come to school dressed as their hero. And so many kids came dressed as sports stars and celebrities of one kind or another, you know, pop singers.
Being almost 5 years older, he really was Big Brother.
And Rachel went dressed as Cory.
This is circle in Barnwell. It's the get-together point. And I was riding my bike up there one day, getting pretty warm at the time, and I was kind of thirsty, so we went over to his house and invited me in, and we played some video games for a few hours.
Sean was like a member of our family when we lived in Barnwell.
It was kind of a cheeky little fella.
He had his driver's license before Cory did, so he came by every morning to pick Cory up for school, but he came early enough so that he could eat breakfast with us, and I packed his lunch when I packed lunches for my children.
That's the best school I have found anywhere. And I bought a house here just because of Barnwell High School.
The first time I met Cory, we were at lunch in around 7th grade.
If I were designing a child, I couldn't have done a better job than Corey Claytor, I don't think.
Enjoyed going fishing with me, enjoyed going hunting with me, just full of energy, full of excitement, and always a smile, a comforting sort of person to be around.
We were all computer geeks, basically, so we were all, it's like, oh, what's the new computer game, or, whatever, that kind of thing. So we all were very much into technology.
Oliver Allen III, Cory was the only person who was allowed to call him by his initials, ODA. Cory called him Oda.
Well, Cory told me a lot about how he made his computer water cooled, and that whole bit.
Yeah, I guess that means something like a computer geek. Kind of played a lot of video games.
Let's see, a nerd is somebody that does it good and usually gets paid for it.
Cory built his own computer.
You gotta think how many people buy those games and how rich those nerds are that create the games and all of that. But a geek is just the guy that plays them and doesn't ever do anything with his life.
And so Cory convinced his parents to fund his endeavor to put water cooling in his computer, the nice Blue Beast.
Honestly, not too many people knew about it because we were nerds, of course. We didn't really hang out with everybody. We didn't go to parties and all this kind of stuff. We weren't We didn't drink or smoke or anything. I'm almost 20 years old and I've never even sipped a Zima.
And so he ended up with a bunch of water pipes running through it and a nice big radiator that happened to be about the noisiest thing ever.
With the computer, he told me about it, that him and his father were going to, work on it. So I was like, oh, really? So once he was done with it, I was like, dude, I have to see it. So, I ran over there basically, and I saw it, and it had all these lights and diodes, and he was like, oh, no, it's awesome. There was a panel that you could actually look into the computer. So not only was it water cooled, everything just was lit up inside like a Christmas tree. So it was just a magnificent thing to see.
And, we painted it and had different lights in it and just made it look good and run good and play games the best that it could, because the cooler it stays, the better it'll run.
I think Cory could have become anything, anything he chose. I did not know of any limitations. His intellectual ability was extraordinary.
He was really good at math. I remember we all took the SAT in 7th grade. He did better than a whole lot of seniors do.
And I could see motivation there that would have propelled him wherever he chose to go.
Alex Bussell was Cory's roommate at the Governor's School. They met at Trinity Collegiate School when they were both there as middle school students.
I convinced Cory to come back to Hartsville to go to Governor's School with me.
Well, I've known Alex since 6th grade, I think back at Thomas Hart.
Oliver was at the high school that I went to.
First time I ever saw Cory, I didn't really, think much of him. He was just, a meek, nice little kid, redheaded kid.
Very cordial, very a friendly person, easy to get along with. And Oliver just loved him.
Well, Cory, a lot of times would go on a limb for others.
There are many times that I have prevented Oliver from riding with someone, not driving them, but just from riding with them, because I didn't know enough about them to allow him to drive with them.
Driving habits, same as me, seatbelt, get in. Right when you get in, put the seatbelt, grab your cell phone and put it in some easily reachable place if it were to ring, and, of course not answer it if it's snowing or raining.
Well, we thought that Cory was responsible, and we felt that he was a responsible person and someone that could be trusted.
Well, he had to gain his life.
We didn't feel that he would be reckless, which we don't think he was reckless.
We've always been, more mature for our age than everyone was.
I'm overprotective, to tell you the truth. And the reason I'm overprotective, I guess, is because of my own background.
You must wear your safety belt while driving or riding with me. So I know he had it on, and it's a habit. You just do it and you do it. You don't even think about it.
And if they can't do that, then they can't drive, period. That's the way I feel about it.
Cory was one of those people who just about anything he went for, he probably would have done well at it. The people he would have been with, he would have made a difference for. Everybody would have known him.
The last time Cory and I were together was during our summer research for the Governor's School. And there he was studying genetics.
He didn't pick his friends. It was pretty much whoever he met was his friend. And
to our surprise, we come home one evening to find some mattresses laying in the hall. And so we decided to have some fun with them.
Cory would fit in the category of most outstanding students based on what I've seen over the years. Probably there might be, say, 100 kids I've taught who are just up there in the group of you can do anything.
Well, since he'd gone to the governor's school, we didn't hang out as much as we'd like to. So he was just like, hey, one day we're just gonna, I'm just gonna come down from Greenville.
Corey had gone to pick Oliver up to bring him home to visit with us because Oliver couldn't get a ride.
I left here, home, at about noon, en route to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, to meet with one of my law partners in our Winston-Salem office.
Corey was a very, very safe one. He didn't really care to, speed, because we weren't, really in a hurry, or, we were just trying to get there.
Oliver was going to come back and spend about a week here in Greenville visiting with Cory and us.
We saw some clouds in the horizon. I was like, oh, it's gonna start raining.
I started to get worried a little bit. I hadn't heard from him, and I kept calling his cell phone. And
I blacked out, actually. And when I came to, Cory wasn't in the seat next to me. So I was like, okay, where is he? Like, I unbuckled my seatbelt. I wasn't even concerned about myself. I was just looking for where he was. And I turned and I got out of the SUV into the ditch, which was, basically thigh deep in water at the time. And I saw him face down in the ditch.
it wasn't like Cory to not call and check in if he was running late. And there was a knock on the door, and it was a pretty blonde lady, and she just said, "Is this the home of Hugh Claytor Jr.?" And I said, "Yeah, but he's not here right now." And
I got a call about just before 5 o'clock, just as I had arrived at motel in Winston-Salem from someone with the coroner's office.
and she said, "Well, I'm every parent's worst nightmare.
I attempted to arrange for a charter flight.
I think I just looked at her, and she said that Cory had been in an accident and that he didn't survive. And I was most concerned that Rachel could hear us because she was right in the front room, right next to the door. So I asked the lady to come inside, and we walked out onto the back deck. She stayed for a long time because I was here by myself.
I called my law partner and asked him if he would please bring me home.
It's a personal 9/11. It's a personal meltdown of a family.
Because it's not just the loss of Cory, it's the loss of his potential children, grandchildren. And I think when we look at the line in this family, the grandfather as a doctor, Hugh as an outstanding attorney, Cory to be something magnificent and outstanding, any potential descendants would have been the same.
With the assistance of the Governor's School for Science and Math Foundation, we established the Corey Claytor Memorial Scholarship, and it's awarded each year to the graduating senior who most emulates those special characteristics of Cory in their everyday life. It's not based on grades, it's not based on looks, it's not based upon socioeconomic status, it's based upon how do you really live as a human being in your caring and concern and outpouring for others.
When I heard my name, it's pretty much, I just remember being really honored to be recognized as far as in any kind of relation with Cory. At the same time, I knew that a great deal of responsibility had been placed on me to try to live up to his memory.
Trying to describe Cory to someone who didn't know him would be like trying to describe a rainbow to someone who has never seen one.